Well, hello and welcome to my review of the Mora No. 1, a sharp little piece of history. The number 1 is a classic Mora knife. Ragnar from Ragweed Forge says if you're in Sweden and you ask to borrow a knife, this is the one you're going to get. It's not the laminated S2, which I don't have. I understand that model to be a little bigger, but designed with the same shape in mind. Anyway, you want super basic? You want good carbon steel in a wood setting? You want to cut your finger real good if you screw up? Well, look no further than the number 1. A neat little piece of history you'd better learn to use before you take outside.
Okay, this is a Mora No. 1. Now this knife is a neat piece of history. I really enjoy owning it, and I think it's fun to use now and again on occasion. However, I'm not really entirely comfortable using it outside of, say, for example, a kitchen environment or somewhere where I'm close to a first aid kit. Because not only does it not have the safety features that I like to see, it promotes potential accidents by not having any guards at all. Which, alright, you don't have a guard on it, that's one thing, but then you have a handle that actually radiuses down towards that razor sharp Scandinavian blade, actually promoting slippage towards that blade, and you can see that blade starts instantly right where it marries up to the handle. This knife costs $10. If you want a neat little neck knife, you want something, you're a reenactor, or you want to go, you're doing natural well, let's just say, for example, you're a throwback archer and you want something on your neck, a neck knife that's going to marry up to the rest of your gear. This would be a neat option. But here you have a 7-Eleven. This is $10. The 7-Eleven is $11. It costs $1 more. Look what you get. I mean, you get a handle that actually fits into your hand. You get a hint of a finger guard right there. You get a little swell right here where your fingers grab. You get a nice palm, I guess that's a palm swell back there that you can fit into the palm of your hand. You get a larger blade, same carbon steel, same 1095, and there's a whole ton of different options, a whole ton of different models that you can pick in the $10 to $15 range that are going to absolutely blow away the number 1 in usability, safety, and features. I'm not down on the number 1. The number 1 is neat, it's nifty, and I enjoy owning it. But it's not necessarily a knife that I'm going to use a lot compared to some of the newer model Moras that have just better features. So if you want a number 1 for a throwback, just to have something that is neat, piece of little Scandinavian history, go for it. But if you have $10 to $15 and you want to buy a Mora knife, I'd bark up another tree.
Alright, the whole package weighs in at just a few ounces. Now the blade's 1095 carbon steel, illustrated nicely with a logo stamp, and it transitions into the handle through a metal fitting that offers no guard to separate the cutting surface from the handle. The blade's just about the same size as the 510 and the 511, but the wooden handle's significantly shorter on this knife in the context of a safe purchase or a grip. I'm not sure what kind of wood the handle's made from, but it seems hard enough to take some abuse. Well, the fit and finish is nice. The blade has a rough spine, but this lends to the character of the knife as a whole, complementing the minimalist approach to cutting tasks. The blade's very sharp, and it stays shiny if you avoid cutting items that patina and stain carbon steel. Now, most guys say they don't mind this, and I wish I didn't either, but to be honest, I like shiny blades, so I use stainless in the kitchen. The knife fits nicely into the sheath, as you can see here, and the blade on the whole looks pretty smart. Now the sheath is awful. There's no retention at all. The friction at the handle is eventually going to scar the wood, and a useless belt loop is there to boot. I would liken it more to a blade guard for a drawer than an actual carry sheath, but a lot of fellas find it okay as a neck knife option, so apparently it works in this role. And you can see the typical Mora drain hole coming up here. Application is little girls making fruit salad. Nah, but really, If you can handle carbon steel in the kitchen, the lack of any guard lends itself to food service, and the razor-sharp nature of the Scandi grind pushes nicely through meat and veggies alike. I used a clipper in the kitchen for a little while, and I liked it until I snapped the blade prying something in my shop. Well, the blade on the number one's a fine little cutter. Many fellas like it as a throwback option, and it looks right at home with the recurve and the buckskins. In the kitchen it's a winner as well, but just like Gaston Glock's offerings took the wind out of steel service pistols, so plastic did the same for the number one. More suited ergonomics combined with superior materials cast a long shadow over this design, and there are better options in the Mora lineup for the same money. If you decide you want a number one, tack on a high Q knife in carbon steel when you order it, and try them both out. They both only cost $10, and then you'll see what I mean. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll try and keep them coming.